Overcoming the fear of failure. You know, there's a story that always stuck with me. There was a young boy who loved to climb trees. One day he fell. Hard. He scraped his knees, bruised his arms, and worst of all, he got scared. After that, every time he looked at a tree, he froze. But one day he asked himself, what if I climb again and reach the top? That simple question changed his life. Now let me ask you, what's your tree? What's the thing you're afraid to climb because you might fall? Is it starting that business, chasing that dream, or maybe even believing in yourself? I'm here to tell you, failure isn't the end. It's the beginning. Let's break it down. Fear of failure isn't just about falling short. It's about the what-ifs. What if I embarrass myself? What if people laugh? What if I'm just not good enough? But here's the truth. Failure is part of growth. Thomas Edison, the guy who invented the light bulb, said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Imagine if he gave up after the first attempt. We'd all still be sitting in the dark. Question for you. What's the biggest thing you've wanted to do, but fear has held you back? Drop it in the comments. I want to know. Fear of failure comes from two things. 1, society's expectations. 2, your inner critic. Society tells you that success is a straight line, but it's not. It's a messy, zigzagged road. And your inner critic? That little voice in your head saying, you can't do this, is lying to you. Think about it. Would you let a stranger talk to you like that? No? Then why let your own mind bully you? Here's a quote to remember. Do not fear failure. Fear being in the exact same place next year as you are today. Let's reframe failure. Failure isn't losing. It's learning. Every time you fail, you get stronger, smarter, and closer to success. Look at athletes. How many times do they fall before they land the perfect jump? Michael Jordan said, I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. When you fail, ask yourself, what did I learn? That's the question successful people ask every time. Now think about this. What's the cost of not trying? Imagine being 80 years old, looking back on your life and thinking, what if I had just gone for it? That regret will hurt more than any failure ever could. You see, every successful person you admire has failed. Jeff Bezos, his first company failed. Oprah, she was fired from her first TV job. But they didn't stop. They used their failures as stepping stones. Question for you. What's one failure you've had that taught you something valuable? Share it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Now let's talk about action. Fear hates action. When you act, fear shrinks. Start small. Break your goals into tiny, manageable steps. Want to start a business? Make the first call. Want to write a book? Start with one paragraph. Here's a formula. 1. Identify the fear. 2. Break it down into small steps. 3. Take one step today, right now. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the thing you're afraid to do. Now imagine yourself doing it. Imagine the feeling of success, the pride, the relief. That's where you're headed. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. If you hang around people who fear failure, you'll stay stuck. Find people who've overcome their fears and learn from them. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose wisely. Perfection is a myth. Stop waiting for the perfect time. It doesn't exist. The perfect time is now. Start messy, start scared, but just start. Here's a quote for you. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Life isn't about avoiding failure. It's about embracing the journey. Every failure is a plot twist in your story. And every story needs twists to be interesting, right? Question for you. What's one step you'll take today to overcome your fear of failure? Let me know in the comments. So here's my challenge for you. Take that thing you've been afraid to do and take one small step today. Remember, courage doesn't mean you don't get afraid. Courage means you don't let fear stop you. Your story is still being written. Don't let fear hold the pen. Take control, climb your tree. Climb your tree. And when you reach the top, you'll look back and realize failure wasn't the enemy. Fear was. Let's rewrite your story together. What's your next chapter going to be?